Hello, everybody out there, and welcome to the interview portion of Terrorific Talk. And I have a lovely guest with me by the name of GalaxyGraves, who is a Twitch content creator. So how are you doing this evening?
I am fabulous. I am full of food, and I was laying down to digest before this because I was like, "Oh man, you did the thing. You ate too much." But I'm happy to be here, and I'm ready to go. Ready to talk
Ooh.
about some spooky stuff.
Yeah. Oh, so before we talk about the spooky stuff, you mentioned food. I love food.
Mm-hmm.
What did you have?
I made like a deconstructed chicken parmesan. I basically made it in one pot. So yeah, it was. I don't cook for myself very often because I can't portion control myself when I do.
So instead of making for two people, you end up making for like 10.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, but make enough to have leftovers, and then I'm just like, raw. So.
Well, at least you have leftovers for days.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. Let me ask you to introduce yourself. So, talk a little bit about you, what you do in the Twitch content creation world.
Well, my name is Galaxy. I am a Canadian Twitch content creator. I stream a variety of things, primarily horror, however, or horror themed and related. I also run a podcast called The Cackling Cauldron that I co-host with HacksawJenny. And I've started to organize a women's community for people who are gamers. So it's not focused on the streaming aspect, even though there are probably 50 to 60% of the members are streamers right now. But I just wanted to create a space that was sort of free from the male gaze and where we don't even have to worry about that. So that's been going really well. That's been fun. Sometimes the streamers that are members do like multi-streams and stuff like that. And then on the Cackling Cauldron, we talk about all sorts of things creepy and horror related, movies, urban legends, conspiracy theories, cults. We've got a whole bunch of stuff coming up for that. And I hope to also on my channel on Twitch be doing a lot more creative streams again. Now the New Year's rolled around and I can feel like I can get my act back in gear.
Are you going to be doing creepy stuff on your creative streams?
Oh, always. Some of it will be creepy, some of it won't be. Some of it's just, I'm going to sit here and crochet this hat for the next hour and a half and chat with you guys. And you can watch me.
Ah, neat. So
yeah.
Before we get into talking about horror, talk a little bit about your podcast, The Cackling Cauldron.
Cackling Cauldron?
Yes.
Well, it's basically it originated again as to have sort of a female-oriented and guests on it. You were a guest on the very first one, which was fantastic. Thank you again for doing that. That was around Halloween. We just had some women come around and just talk about their favorite things about Halloween and spooky stuff and favorite movies and whatnot. And we did a couple of those, and then we did another one where we had guests on and talked about the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, which we are actually following up on next week, on next Thursday night. So it's every Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific. And then we're going to roll. We've done a couple movie reviews. We did Mandy. We did a community watch along for that. So a bunch of us got together in a rabbit room and watched the movie. And then we talked about it later on. And we have a lot of stuff that sort of got thrown on our plate all of a sudden. Everyone's like, hey, we can have a guest here, we can send you this movie here. We're just like, holy crap.
It's like,
oh my god,
like, whoa, wait, slow down.
Everything's happening all at once. Okay. Which is amazing, and it's truly, it makes you really feel like you're on the right track with everything when it just kind of goes rolling like that. But the basis is that our guests are women or non-binary in a sense. Again, it's a platform for us to be able to discuss things on our sort of own ground and terms. We will be having, like, for example, we have some actors that are interested in coming on that are male, and we will have probably like one of them on, at a time with 3 women to sit and chat with them and talk about whatever our topic is for the night. So the primary idea though is if there is a female like a female that can come from the industry or whatnot to talk, we're going to take a preference there. And sort of we will always bring up like the idea of, we do have like a male actor or director or content creator or whatnot on that, you know, how to have open discussion about where women stand in the industry that they are working in, so that we sort of just kind of lift women up, give them a platform to discuss something that we love a lot, and not to have to, and to bring attention to the inequalities that are there, but also lifting up and putting more women into the spotlight as we can. So that's the basis, and that's like the basis of the Glam Clam Squad too, that community that I was talking about before, is just to give us a space that's ours, that we can lift each other up, and we don't have to be concerned and have to think about or worry about or stress about, you know, are they going to take this the wrong way, or, you know, any of those millions of thoughts that women have.
That just sounds like really cool that that the Cackling Cauldron and the space that you built is just a space where, like you said, that women can feel safe, like in discussing the issues, like it just even talking about horror, because as I've always like felt, horror has always been a very pro-woman genre where women can be just allowed to kick ass.
Yes. 100%. And what I am saying women, but like I said, we like to be inclusive. So it's like, if you identify as female or you are non-binary, so it kind of boils down to, it's like the No Boys Allowed Club.
I get you. So it's like a fort with a sign that says "No boys allowed."
Yeah, a little bit. That's kind of what it feels like sometimes. But it's good because we can literally talk about anything, and there's no judgment. We have spaces that are created within the communities where, and discords and whatnot, where, you know, like if talking about certain topics is not what you want to see, they belong in those sections, because we don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable ever. So it's been pretty successful so far, and we're having a lot of fun. So that's really great to see it sort of gel together and have friendships being made, which is the whole reason behind it.
I love it whenever things just come together and they're going just like in the right direction. It's just like you feel like, oh, that's the best feeling.
Yes, yeah, it just feels good. It gives you that good deep down tingle. Wait.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
that
in a way,
that tingly feeling. Now let's get to the central question that I always pose with my podcast. So I always aim to ask why. And so the question behind why is, why horror? What makes you love horror so much?
I don't know. I can't say what it is. I grew up watching Goosebumps and Are You Afraid of the Dark here in Canada, and Buffy started airing when I was like 14, I think. Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and then I read like all the Fear Street books by R.L. Stine. I didn't really read Goosebumps much. I kind of moved into there, and then I went straight from there into like Christopher Pike, which was the more sort of adult versions of his, of the R.L. Stine books, and then I was off into like the adult like horror books, because I was I'm still really a huge reader, not as much as I was when I was like a teenager, but it felt like home for me. Vampires, nighttime, witches, that's who I am as a person. And I just moved off into the horror land, and I never came out of it, ever. And I don't plan on it.
Horrorland is the best place to be, I feel. And that's why I hate it whenever people feel like that horror only needs to be restricted to Halloween. Because, like, for people like us, horror is all year round.
Cranky around Halloween, honestly, because I'm just like, you guys make fun of this stuff 11 months out of the year, and October switches around and it's all the best thing ever, and I get all like hipster cranky. I'm like, I'm like this all the time, and now you guys are thinking you're so cool.
Yeah, stop bandwagoning.
Yeah, exactly. So I get a little grumpy around Halloween, to be quite honest.
Aw. Yeah. I I don't know. It's just like I wish I could get why people feel like they need to regulate horror to just 1 month out of the year, but yeah, but as I mentioned before, horror is an all year round experience.
All year round thing. I mean, we had one of our Cauldron episodes on Christmas horror movies, which is one of my favorite subgenres of horror is Christmas, and there are so many Christmas horror movies. Like, you'd be surprised, and you know, it was good. It's good fun, and like, I mean, some of them are so good that I watch them. It doesn't matter what time of year it is. I'm like, I don't know. It's a horror movie. It's not a Christmas movie now. It's fine. But yeah, no, horror is a 7 days a week, 365 days a year lifestyle for me. It's and there's horror encompasses, it's just such a broad term when it comes down to it, with the subgenres and different areas, and there's comedy in horror, and there's drama and thriller, and there's werewolves and monsters and everything else, and you can go anywhere. There's so many different branches. You can find your little area that's your like true love sort of thing, but you're still encompassed under this whole big horror umbrella, which is fantastic.
Yeah. So what would be your true love when it comes to horror?
Definitely vampires, anything to do with vampires, usually stuff to do with witches, and exorcism movies.
Ooh.
Give me a good possession any day of the week.
Do you feel that exorcism movies are a bit overdone? Because it seems like nowadays, like every time you turn around, there's another exorcism movie coming out.
I mean, for me, it's been kind of great because I'm like, yes, there's another one, and there's been some really fabulous things that have come out recently. The Vatican tapes came out in the last few years, which is one of my absolute favorites. The Exorcist TV show that came out is just phenomenally done. So I mean, I'm just like, I can't get enough. I'm just like, more. I don't know if it's because like I wasn't raised like Catholic or anything like that, but I was sent to a Catholic school. And I don't know. I think it's the same sort of thing why I like Christmas horror so much. It's just like I really like seeing something that's supposed to be so safe and so protected by wholesomeness, and it's just like ripped apart. And also the mythology behind Catholicism is just really intriguing to me. So I kind of, every sort of possession / exorcism movie that's done, you get a little more peek into some of the mythology behind it. So that's what I really enjoy about it as well.
Yep. What would you recommend, like what exorcism movie would you recommend to someone like me who kind of feels that genre of horror is a little bit overdone?
The Exorcism of Emily Rose. Which is very interesting because it's done after the girl has died, and it's done in flashbacks through a priest being tried in court. So it's done I really like how that one was done. It's done back and forth, and it's like more about the legal half and her searching out that part than the horror of being possessed. So it's a very medium ground between like drama and horror. And then the Vatican tapes, again, that one I loved it. I watched it again I watched it 3 times in a row the first time I saw it. I was like, oh, I'm gonna watch it again. No, I'm gonna watch it again. And I really, really like that one too. So those are newer ones that I would have to recommend. And of course, always like the Exorcist, the original Exorcist is always going to have, a place up on a pedestal, but I think there's probably a lot more out there, and especially, oh my God, here I go again, I can't stop it, especially on a service like Shudder where they have curated collections. Every time, you've seen it on Twitter, every time Jenny and I have a podcast, we end up bringing up Shudder, which is a streaming service. We are not affiliated or sponsored yet. Yet. Hire us. In any way, shape, or form, it is just a really amazing service, and they have these curated collections. So, like, if I feel like watching a vampire movie, I go click, I think it's called Bloodsuckers or something like that. And, it lists off everything they have that are vampire related, or exorcism, or, hauntings, or, if you want, like, Japanese horror or something like that, the curated collections are really a bonus if you are trying to find something outside of just the regular stuff. So yeah, those are definitely the top two I would recommend if you think exorcism movies are overdone and you want kind of a different look at them. Would be the Vatican tapes and the Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned those, so I will definitely check into those. And also, I'm so glad you mentioned Shudder because, you know, I too am not affiliated or sponsored by them yet. Please, like
hint.
Yeah, hint, Shudder, like, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just love.
Which is like your untapped resource, okay, for marketing. Come find us all.
Yes, exactly. They have such a good collection of movies.
So good. And they keep adding new stuff every month, so it's so great to see. They just put Eastern Promises on there, and that's one of my favorite movies.
Eastern Promises? Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I love that movie.
Viggo Mortensen. It's such a good movie.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man. And I was just recommending just on my previous segment, just like, I didn't know Shudder had podcasts. Whenever I heard that, I was like, oh God, this is my dream come true.
Yeah, I saw you scrolling through and talking about it a little bit there, and I definitely haven't dove in and listened to any of those or checked any of those out yet, but they are on the never-ending list of things to watch or listen to. I don't have enough ears or eyes to do what I really need to. I want it all now.
Yeah. Yes, to the never-ending queue of things that are on our list of things that we need to watch.
And just plug myself in and download it all like the Matrix. That'd be good.
That would be nice. And then we could get through everything faster.
Exactly. Then you go back and rewatch in depth the ones that you really like.
Exactly. Like, why hasn't that happened yet?
Yeah, it's 2019, guys. Come on. This is the year of Blade Runner.
Yeah. That is so wild.
Isn't it wild that we're now getting into the point where all these like sci-fi movies from the 70s and 80s thought we would be? Nope, not even close, guys.
No.
Sorry.
It's so funny how, they thought that we were going to have, like, flying cars and all sorts
flying skateboards, hoverboards. Actual hoverboards, not, things with wheels still.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Blade Runner.
Blade Runner, yes. Now, you also mentioned that you like vampires and witches.
Absolutely.
So, what is your... Okay, besides Buffy, which we will get into in a little bit... So, what is your favorite vampire movie, and what is your favorite? There's several witch movies. I mean, that's not a genre that's like really in my purview, but
no,
kind of talk about your favorites.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, with the witches, I find most of the witch stuff comes down to Halloween movies, and I would like to see some stuff outside of that happening. I mean, we had obviously, like as a '90s kid, we had Practical Magic. Which is a really good movie. But like brain freeze. I mean, Hocus Pocus is always a classic, but it's a Halloween movie, and there's nothing wrong with it. And I watch it all year round. Don't get me wrong. And then I find a lot of other witch movies are very, they're aimed towards a juvenile audience, not an adult audience. And I mean, I did like The Witch, but it's not quite what I'm looking for really yet. But I do know that the people that did The Witch are coming out with another movie. And I cannot remember the title of it. I was reading about it over on Bloody Disgusting last night.
Wow.
Yeah. So just as The Witch was pretty good. Yeah, it was a good movie. But I want like powerful witch like I want a Morticia Addams solo movie. That's what I want.
That's the movie that I didn't even know that I needed.
Yeah, that's what I want. I want like a powerful witch woman, out doing her magic, doing her spells, all that sort of stuff. That's not like all about the cliche hocus pocusy stuff. That's the kind of thing that I'd like to see.
So you're more of a fan of that rather than the colonial aspect that The Witch provided.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I do have like the whole interest in like the lore and the everything behind like the pilgrims, is that the right word? Anyways, but yeah, colonial and Salem and that whole time zone, time and era and everything like that. I mean, going to Salem is a huge dream of mine as a Canadian and a horror fan. Luckily, I do have friends that live close by, so hopefully it'll be happening soon. I know that going to Salem Horror Fest is like top of my list of wanting things I would like to do.
Ooh.
So there's all of that. When it comes to vampires, see, the thing is, I read a lot more than I ever really watched, to be quite honest.
Okay.
Like the last vampire series by Christopher Pike, I would love to see turned into like a TV series or movie. He rebound the books into volumes that were rebranded as The Thirst, probably about 10 years ago, and then he added a new one onto it, so there's new content for that. And basically it relates the vampires and back to the beginning of vampires and creation or whatever. We're taken back to Indian lore, like from India. So you have some of the Indian gods and stuff like that involved in it. I love it. I still have it. I still read it like at least once a year. And I would love to see that turned into like a series or novel. But then there's Buffy, and there's my true love.
Of course, you can't go wrong with Buffy.
I can't go wrong with Buffy. And like I said, I was like 13 or 14 when Buffy first aired, and I watched it all the way through up to the last season. I didn't quite get because I was traveling, so I would have to sort of take what I could get. It was the beginning of like internet and fan sites and fanfic online and everything else. So I made like fan websites. I learned how to code so I could do stuff like that. If my grandmother who raised me, she's like, if I did something wrong, the only way to punish me was to tell me I couldn't watch Buffy, and I could also not record Buffy. Yeah, so I would have to wait till the next week to watch it.
So guys, you don't know the pain of living back before a time where we had no streaming services. We had no way to watch our shows other than on TV.
Right? And yeah, and taping it on a VHS tape, and then you run out of them, so you're like, okay, which of these can I like live without? And I looked at like the bought ones, and I'd cover up the little holes on the back and then pop them back in, and like, oh my god, don't tape over this one, and you pop the little tabs off the end of it. Like, oh my god, it was a time.
Yeah.
God forbid
It was a time. Oh man. Yes, and I've come across very few people that are still like old enough to remember those times.
I know. My daughter's 10, and when she was about 5 or 6, I borrowed a VCR from my friend, because like I still have like the Dark Crystal on VHS and stuff like that. And I like we watched a movie, I don't remember which one it was, and when it was over, she's like, oh, I'll go get it out. I was like, no, you have to rewind it first. She's like, what's rewind? I'm like, oh, child.
Oh, child, be kind. Please rewind.
Yeah. But yeah, Buffy, oh man, I was deep in Buffy land growing up as a teenager. I still am now. I rewatch it at least once a year. I have the comics. I have it all on DVD still. I mean, my love of vampires and the bad guys in that show, they were just wonderful. Mm-hmm. And just wonderful. So yeah, Buffy always needs rewatching. Always. And there's always something that I can relate to Buffy. I'll be talking about it, they'll be like, that time on Buffy, and everyone's like, seriously? Every day. I can do it.
It's just like, yeah, I'm having scrambled eggs. Oh, and by the way, on that episode of Buffy, she too had scrambled eggs.
Well, see, in this case, I'd say the main one, when they had the breakfast, was the one episode in season 7, and she was doing the cereal, and it was all slow motion with her hair blowing back in the wind. See, that's what I'm trying. That's what I think about when I think about Breakfast and Buffy, is the cereal shot that they did. And oh my god, I can't remember the episode name right now, but it was the one where they all like fell in love with the kid who had some like enchanted jacket or something he'd inherited from his brother. Yeah.
Yep. I remember that episode.
Yeah, so many good episodes. My favorite episode is Hush. My favorite seasons are season 3 and season 4. Mostly because I love Faith, who is on the show, and honestly, I loved Riley the most. You can get at me. I'm not Team Angel or Team Spike. I'm Team Riley all the way until they turned him into a total freaking twat in season 5.
Oh, so you're the first person that I've heard of that's a Buffy fan that's not either Angel or Spike. I didn't like Angel either. I thought he was boring.
I liked Angel in the beginning. I liked Spike when he was bad. After, like, season 3, I was just like, you both are boring me now.
Yeah, go away.
Get out of here with your souls. Faith is my girl. Always. And Eliza Dushku is an amazing actress. I loved her in Dollhouse as well, which is another Joss Whedon show that was canceled too soon. Too soon. And they are working on a new Buffy series, and Marty oh my god. My brain just, like, stalled and stopped, ran out of gas. Marty Noxton, I want to say, Norkston. She was one of the main writers on the original series, and she's involved with that. And it's not going to be like a new Buffy per se, but they are carrying on the universe in a way.
Oh, okay.
So it's time for a new Slayer, is what she tweeted out one day.
And I bet you were just like, ah!
Yes. Yeah, because everyone was freaking out when they said they were going to reboot Buffy, and I was like, let's just wait and see what happens, because the way the series ended, there are so many options for where they can go with it. So hopefully they don't just reboot it and try and start from the beginning back when she finds out she's a vampire slayer again, and they didn't. They are not going to do that. So I'm excited to see what they're going to do. I'm very excited, especially with Marty headlining and sort of like taking the reins on it.
That's good that they're not rebooting it, because when I first heard that news, I admittedly was a little bit worried myself, because it just seems like every one of my favorite things keep getting rebooted.
Well, I mean, I love Jason Momoa. He is gorgeous to look at, as well as he's just a good actor as well. But I am so happy that the Crow reboot was not done, and it was canceled. And I get that they were going from a sort of one of the different series from the comic books than the original one was, but some things you don't need to touch, like back off from the craft.
Are they going to reboot that?
There's been talks about it.
Oh, man, no. It's just like, that was the quintessential 90s movie about witches.
That's the one that I didn't bring up, actually. You know, like, The Craft was, like, it's probably the best movie you can watch about witches. Because there's actually enough reality built into it with witchcraft practices that it's you know, but you've got crazy evil and magic that doesn't happen, you know, still happening in it, right? You know, so it's got that nice kind of balance. The She-Ra reboot is fantastic. Actually, the artists behind it, I'm huge fans of all of them. They are amazing, and you can suss them out on Twitter. They're friendly. They're all super friendly.
So let me pause here for a second and say thank you to Lady Goggles for a Goggles raid. Welcome in. Yes. And for those of Goggles community that don't know me, I'm Brandykins. This is Podcast Day. I am interviewing GalaxyGraves. We are talking about horror because I think that she can probably attest that whenever you can find someone that you can just talk with and nerd out about horror, it's just the best thing. Yeah. The best thing.
100%. And I love the horror community is such generally, I'm going to say like probably 90% of it is like generally extremely welcoming, helpful. They give good recommendations. There's always those 10% gatekeepers in any community. Jerks. Yeah, but we don't need to talk about them.
Nah, because I know that you've probably had the same experiences with asking guests on your podcast. Like, I've rarely had a no. Like, whenever I've asked a guest to come on,
I've never had a no. Yeah.
So I've only had like 2 total no's in the 13 episodes that but not, of course, not involving the guests that I've had on. But yeah, but...
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So, if out of all the guests that I've asked, if I've only had, like, 2 no's so far, then I think I'm running pretty well.
Exactly. But yeah, like it's just for me, and like I said, horror is such an umbrella term. Like there's hundreds of umbrellas under the horror umbrella. Like there's just so many different areas. There's so much room for everyone and their particular things that they like books, series, games, movies, art, even if that's your thing, like horror art, gore art, and everything else like that. Like there's areas for everyone in it. And all sorts of different degrees of horror. Like it doesn't have to be blood and guts in your face constantly, or terrifying. That the psychological thriller stuff.
Right. I think that's the main thing that new horror people, whenever they're first coming into it, they just think like, oh, it's just all blood and guts and nasty crap, like
horrifyingly scaring stuff. It's not.
Yeah, and I mean things like the human centipede. I mean, that's not for me.
I still haven't seen it.
So things like Hostel are not for me. Like extreme gory, like horror torture, like things like that are not for me. But if you're a fan of that, then that's cool. Hey, there's that genre for you.
There's that genre for you, and there is lovely people in that genre that love talking about it. So they're out there. They're in all different, areas in social media and stuff like that, and different platforms for you to find them in. Yeah. So that's what I really like, is that it's not as small a little community as it seems. It's gigantic.
Yes, like we're out there. We're lurking. Yeah.
In the shadows, we see you.
Dun, dun, dun. So it looks like also that we have a question directed to the both of us from D. Brock. So he's asking us, as horror fans, do you consider the Paranormal Activity series horror, or is it just a movie?
I think it can be considered under horror. I think it's under sort of like the hauntings and ghost area of horror. So it's definitely not considered just your average movie. Yeah. So that's what I would say to that. It's a subgenre, like all those sort of like haunted hauntings and ghost stories and not quite possession though. Right. I wouldn't really put it at in like the possession, exorcisms and stuff that we were talking about that I really loved before. But yeah, I definitely would put those under horror for sure.
Yes, I would too. And also I would like to add a little bit of a wrinkle and call it also maybe a bit of a found footage type of film, that recording like subgenre of horror, where the first one I thought was pretty decent, and I think that kind of went all downhill from there.
I've only watched the first one, and it was a long time ago, and I haven't really watched it anymore because they just really weren't my jam. But I mean, if it comes to a point where I need to watch them for a certain reason or something like that, I have no issues watching anything for the informative sakes.
Yes.
But yeah, not really the movie I'm really kind of looking for to watch for my own personal enjoyment.
Yeah, found footage is not a genre I go to, and it's mainly also because of the camera work. Like, my eyes can't handle like all the shaky cam.
It annoys me. Yeah. Makes me grumpy.
Because I'm just like, bleh. It's like, no, I don't want to feel sick and puke like during a movie.
I mean, some people, that's their thing. I mean, I'm sure like lots of people who are into roller coasters probably really like those kind of movies.
That's a good point. I never even thought of that. All right, let me see if I missed any like other comments. All right. Yeah. Jason Momoa.
Yes. As my one friend said to me, she's like, I'm probably going to see Aquaman twice because the first time I'm just going to be staring and drooling at the screen.
And then the second time is when you like watch it.
I actually like take the movie in. Yeah. Yes.
Oh.
I would like to see him in more horror. I think he'd be really good in some horror.
Yes, like if you're out there and hearing this, yeah.
Hello, Jason.
Yes, hello. I guess this is a question. I don't know if it's directed to both of us, but I'm gonna go ahead and like put it out there. What kind of horror stuff are you into? This is from Norse Pearl. Movies, series, games, Books. Okay, so you've already gone over a little bit about what kinds of movies, series, books that you're interested in. So just briefly go over those, and then we can get into the game aspect of horror.
I'm excited to talk about it because there's good stuff happening this year in horror games. Yeah, because I do stream here on Twitch, primarily horror or sort of things that could be considered like horror themed, like Diablo and whatnot. It's not like a horror game, but it's dark. There's demons, you know. There's that church lore stuff happening again that I seem to love. I don't know what it is. I think it's the mythology aspect of it for me. But yeah, for movies, I'm super into like the vampire movies, witch movies, even though there's not really a lot out there that I really particularly like yet. And I love movies about possession and exorcisms. And we were chatting about that a bit earlier. And then for books and stuff like that, yeah, I grew up reading like R.L. Stine books, Christopher Pike, then moved into like adult horror, of course. Anne Rice is in there. Basically anything I could get my hands on. But like I said, I was a teenager in the 90s, so a lot of those authors don't really do a lot of stuff anymore. So present day, I keep Emily Rose. Yeah, that's the one that I had mentioned, the Exorcism Emily Rose. Back in October, we watched a horror movie, at least one horror movie every day with my community. It was an intense month. We went through a lot of content. We did marathons for like certain series on the weekends. It was a lot. I will be bringing back watch-alongs again in the next week or so, but only like one a week. not one every day. That was pretty intense.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. For games, let's talk about horror games. Layers of Fear, because Layers of Fear 2 is coming out this year, guys, and Gun Media is doing some amazing things, and they are sneaking around, and I got my eyes on them, let me tell you. If you did like the first one, keep your eyes on PAX South, because there will be a panel there, and they will be releasing the first of the information about it outside of that little snippet of a teaser trailer that we got a while back. So yeah, make sure you keep your eyes on Gun Media. They do have, Twitter accounts. The person in charge of their Twitter accounts is very friendly. Matt Chacha, great person. And for other games that I'm looking forward to this year, not personally for myself, but I'm just going to bring this up because it's Devil May Cry 5. I have not played any of those games, but it's a big deal if you like horror games. We have also Sigil, which is the spiritual successor to Chapter 4 of Doom, the original Doom game coming out, and it's going to be free to play.
Ooh.
And it's done by the original creator.
Oh, wow.
So if you are a 90s kid, this is your time. This is your time right now. Doom Eternal is also coming out this year. So it'll be a new... So, like, there was Doom 2016 that came out, which was a great game. So, Doom Eternal is coming out now this year as well. I believe in March-ish, I want to say. And then we've got Code Vein coming out. We've got Wolfenstein, another installment in that franchise coming out. God, what else? Let me think here. There was one that I was talking about with a friend last night. Oh, Atomic Heart, which has a very BioShock feel to it.
Oh,
and it's kind of like BioShock meets Borderlands, I feel, and I'm just, I need it. I needs it, because those are two of my favorite games.
I love BioShock.
Yeah, and what else is coming out? The Resident Evil 2 Remastered.
This month.
That will be coming out, yeah. And as just a nod to myself for some of the games that I do like as a horror game fan, that I'm excited about that I haven't played. Though I'm going to be playing for Cackling Cauldron. Actually, we're going to be doing a Let's Play, and that's the Silent Hill games. I've never played them. And I'm excited. I'm so excited to dip my toes in there.
Are you going to be playing all of them?
I don't know if we're going to be playing all of them, but I know we are probably going to start at the beginning and see how far we can go.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know they're not connected, so the story.
Yeah.
So if you are kind of running short on time and you're looking to like start with a good one, I recommend you start with the second one.
Yeah, I've heard the second one is pretty much the best one out of all of them.
Yes.
Oh yeah. This Kool-Aid Man moment.
Yes, because you can't go wrong with Pyramid Head.
No, Pyramid Head's like just a classic horror game character. On top of that, yeah, so I did bring up BioShock. Alice the Madness Returns. American McGee is putting out a new installment. He's working on it. I don't think we're seeing it till 2020.
No!
But he is posting updates, sketches, little tidbits here and there. He's got a Patreon going for it, so I mean, it's exciting. It's exciting. So I will be doing a playthrough of that as well. I'll be doing the Madness Returns on stream as well soon. So
that is awesome.
Yeah.
Those are some games that I know of mainly just by name, and like I know what they are. They're ones that I have always wanted to play, but I've had such a hard time finding them. Yeah.
No, that's gonna be great. They just put it last fall, I believe, onto oh my goodness, what is it called? It's EA's Origin, yeah. You can buy it on Origin. Yeah.
Okay, so at least I know like
if you're
where
a
to
PC
get it.
gamer, yeah.
At least I know where to get it like somewhere. Yep. Okay.
Yep. And then I mean I've got I play Dead by Daylight. I play Diablo. I play Graveyard Keeper. Graveyard Keeper came out last year, and I was just like, this is a game that was made just for me. I don't care who says any differently. This is my game. Because you maintain a graveyard, and it's fabulous. It's so fabulous. I also play Killing Floor 2 a lot of the time with the Glam Clan squad and some other friends. We're going to start dipping our toes into the Friday the 13th game because we're trying to support Gun Media right now, which is the company behind Layers of Fear. Let's see what else. I'm gonna try and play some Dark Souls.
Oh Lord.
Try is the operative word there.
Oh my god.
I'm pretty sure my community mostly just wants me to play it because they want to see me rage quit.
That's the exact reason why my community wanted to see me play it. I was like, this sucks, I quit!
Right? And I did do my first playthrough of Vampire, which came out last year, which I actually really liked. And based on how you behave in the game and what you do, you will get multiple different endings. So it has multiple, like, the replay value is decent for the price tag on it. Because, like, the first time I killed, the first person I killed, then the next day I'd wiped out an entire district from killing that one person. So but then I was like, well, might as well just kill everybody right off the bat then. So I basically just killed everyone. So I want to try and do like a passive playthrough. I want to try and do like an achievements playthrough, and all different ones. So there's definitely replay value for that game, in my opinion. And also I've been going back and playing some Vampire the Masquerade, which is a lovely old buggy game.
Ooh, like I started out with Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, but I ended up like playing it like the wrong way. I ended up picking like the wrong class for my playstyle, so I'm gonna go back through at some point and play it again.
Yeah, there are a few streamers that are on. I am a member of a stream team called the Dark Forces, and yes, it is a wonderful group of people, wonderful group of humans. There's a few of us who play the game. Definitely the other ones that play it can give you way more information than I possibly could, because I believe I may have played it. It's in that time of my life where I'm like, I don't really remember if I did this or not, or if I've just seen it so much or watched somebody else play it so much that I can't tell if I did or not. So yeah, those are some of the games for horror and whatnot that I've got on my plate that I'm keeping an eye on. So it looks and if there's something I really need to mention. It's a movie. It's this year. We've got Us coming out from Jordan Peele.
Oh my gosh, I've been keeping tabs on that.
The trailer came out on Christmas Day. I nearly died I would have probably fainted if I wasn't already laying down in my bed. It's so good. That's very true, Ishka. Very true. But like, I've been pulling apart the trailer. Like, I've probably watched it once a day at least. This is my life now. I can't think about anything else. Thank you very much, Mr. Peel. that is
great.
Yeah, that's something I'm super hyped about this year.
Because I really loved Get Out.
It was terrifying because the reality of that actually being true and possibly happening in our society is very probable.
And it's just the whole idea just behind the fact that I don't know like how much to spoil it because I don't know.
A lot of people still haven't seen it yet, so.
Yeah, but the whole idea of the fact that, okay, I think I found the way to describe it, not being able to be in control. That is what terrifies me the most.
I am a control freak. Oh, and can we talk about Candyman for a second?
Yes!
Yeah, I'm so excited! Like, I'm so excited! Like, the horror is definitely becoming a more mainstream thing, but not in like, oh, it's so mainstream now. It's just becoming, there's more energy behind it. There's new energy behind it, and new energy feeding into the horror industry, whatever it may be, whether it's games, books, movies, whatnot. It's just, it's exciting, it's invigorating, and it's sort of waking up the horror industry, and I'm all about it.
Yes, I 100% agree. It's still that niche genre that either you're going to really like it or you're going to really hate it. But it's, like you said, mainstream enough to not be just, like, annoying.
Yeah, exactly. Not to be like, oh my god, everything is just horror now. You know, as long as, you know how everything went on TV, everything now is, like, reality TV pretty much, and they're finally sort of easing out of that. Finally, like, 20 years later, good god.
Yeah.
You know, so it's that's not what we're talking about. We're just talking about new energy, lifting it up within the industry that already exists itself, and it's great, and it's so wonderful to see new ideas. And that's like what Jordan Peele is doing with like Get Out and Us, with new ideas. More of that, please. More of that. I do get up redoing and sort of new spins on old movies, because that's just what life is. I mean, how many movies in the 80s and 90s were actually just Shakespeare? And you didn't even know they were not. I'm not talking like Romeo and Juliet, like Baz Luhrmann's one. I'm talking about like they were just different spins on a Shakespeare movie. Like Cruel Intentions was not Shakespeare, but Cruel Intentions was Dangerous Liaisons, which was based on a French movie.
Yep, or Romeo Must Die.
Yep, exactly. So how many movies are still Shakespeare? Exactly.
It's like, oh, jeez, it's just like, yes.
Don't just redo the same thing with the same name. Like, remake it, make it your own, make it something fresh and new. So, you know.
Right. It's like, I like Shakespeare because it's a requirement too, because I did like get a master's like in English, but there's only so many times that you can make Romeo and Juliet the same way. Like, if you're not going to bring something fresh and interesting to Shakespeare, then just don't do it.
Just don't bother. Yeah, just don't bother.
And that goes with anything, like, especially like horror. Like, oh gosh, someone commented, okay, Ishka, I hear Peele's doing another Nightmare on Elm Street and LeBron's producing a Friday the 13th. No more of those. I'm a little bit tired of Freddy Krueger being rebooted. I'm tired of Jason Voorhees being rebooted. No more.
I think that the new Halloween this year was a good idea, good plan, because that had been settled down for a while. I don't think they should do another one anytime soon.
No, and when I heard that, like, oh, there's a possibility that they're going to make another one, it's like, no, just the way it ended, it would not make sense for you to do another one. And then it's just like, you're kind of like then changing the mythology behind Michael Myers if you make another one. Yeah,
so, I mean, because those three baddies are like the you know, triad of horror, you know, slasher movies. And because the installments have been coming out periodically for 30 years, you know, they need to let it
die
for a decade or two at least, please.
Yes, it's just like I don't want to see like every 10 years like Friday the 13th being rebooted. I don't want to
No.
see every 10 years Nightmare on Elm Street being rebooted.
They have so much good content with it out already existing. We have games with it. We have Friday the 13th, the game, albeit it's not technically dead. The developers, like I said, they are still working on it. There's a big patch actually coming out by the end of the month for Friday the 13th. So they're still working on it, even though the lawsuit has prevented them from making any new content related to the game. We have Dead by Daylight. We have, there's a bunch of games and stuff like that. We need fresh blood.
Exactly. And that goes with your point earlier about interjecting new ideas like into the genre. It's just like, if you want to pay homage to like the slasher like films of the 80s, why not
Get me a new one?
Yeah, it's just like, why not make a new killer?
Yeah,
like,
and you know what? We got one new killer with Jigsaw and Saw, but oh my god, stop.
Yeah, it's just like, and horror has such a huge problem with franchising, like with things like Saw. It did so well, it's like, let's make 10 million more of them. It's like,
please don't. New.
No.
Not everything needs to be part of like, okay, don't get me wrong. Conjuring universe, I love the Conjuring universe. I love it. Annabelle, The Nun. I'm excited for the tall, skinny dude that they're making the movie about from it. There's Annabelle 3. Yeah, I forgot his name. The Crooked Man.
There you go.
The Crooked Man. The Crooked Man movie I'm excited for. Annabelle 3 is coming out, and it's going to be really exciting because apparently she kind of comes to life in their little storeroom of all their horror artifacts and starts bringing entities back. So we might see maybe The Nun again, or I still haven't seen the Nun movie, believe it or not, because I have a thing for nuns.
Yeah, like,
I don't know what it is. I can't explain it. It's just who I am as a person.
Okay, you haven't seen The Nun. You need to tear up your horror card. You need to get out of here right now.
Yeah, get out. Podcast is over. Goodbye.
Yeah. I will admit, though, about the Conjuring universe, like, I thought the first Conjuring was decent. I thought it was a decent movie. Like I said,
yeah, the first one is decent.
Exorcisms, like, it's a hard sell for me. They always have been. But it was decent. Annabelle, yeah, I'm gonna have to go the opposite direction on that and be like, no, that was just not my thing.
That's fair.
I haven't seen any of the others.
Yeah, The Conjuring 2 was definitely better than the first one.
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
So is that available to stream anywhere?
I'm in Canada, so what I see on the same service that you may have could be different.
Okay, yeah. I always forget that.
I don't want to recommend anything because that's one of the worst things when you like go on Twitter and someone's like, oh my god, this is the Netflix, and I'm like, oh, yay, not in Canada.
It's like, no, because some things that we might have on Netflix over here in the States, you don't have over there.
Exactly, and vice versa. Like we kept Buffy on Netflix until the end of the year, and they took it off because they needed money for Friends.
Oh, who cares about Friends?
Yeah, people lost their minds over Friends being removed from Netflix. And while I sure will throw it on as background noise if I don't want to pay attention to something, I can live without it on Netflix if it means that so many amazing things were taken off to be able to afford to keep it on because it cost them $10 million to keep Friends on Netflix.
I'm done.
I know. I'm mad about it.
Oh my god.
I have the grumps.
Yeah, it's like I had the grumps whenever they took Doctor Who off of Netflix. So it's just like...
I know, right when I was just about in the way, I'm like, I'm ready to catch up on Doctor Who. Oh, sweet, it's gone.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, thanks.
Shh, that's great.
Thanks a lot. Oh, someone said, okay, Randarma said that I just rewatched Prince of Darkness. Oh, it's been a while since I've seen that.
No kidding. I'm just gonna pull this up.
Wow. And then while you're looking that up, Ishka says, the thing I dislike about Dead by Daylight is that they lock themselves into the killers only being humanoids, and their weapon of choice of a knife is uninspired and unimaginative.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of get that in some ways. Personally, for me, Dead by Daylight, I play it with friends.
Yes, me too.
This is why I don't stream it very often. I play it with friends. Playing Kill Your Friends is super, super fun. I like to kill my friends. And I do, like, there's certain aspects of it that I really enjoy, but I don't think I would be someone who would just stream it or play it just on my own just to get good at the game. It's a more enjoyable friend game for me. And I think that makes all the difference in the world. It's kind of like when we play Killing Floor. You know, I play with my friends. I don't really play off, you know, on stream or when I don't have I don't play solo. There's the word I'm looking for. Found it.
That word.
Yeah, just there are little monsters up in my brain shuffling through, you know, the dictionary looking for the word.
Yeah, I like playing Dead by Daylight. I can't find friends to play with, or like if they're all asleep, then yeah, I do play solo, but I love playing it with friends.
Yeah, playing it with friends is just amazing, which, yeah, again, puts it into the category Dead by Daylight, Killing Floor 2, and Friday the 13th, all sort of, what is it, the one game that I ended up just purchasing because everyone's like, oh, you should get that one too, we all have it, Left 4 Dead.
Oh, the first one or the second one?
Both. I got both for like $3.
Oh, wow.
Months. Yeah, so,
the second one is the one I play the most with friends, is because it's got a lot of different maps and campaigns that you can download from the Steam Workshop. And,
cool. Cool. Yeah, they were both on there on like the sale, and I was just like, for $3, yeah, get both. It's fun.
Yeah, why not? And I know that it's probably like, zombies, but at times.
You're a zombie. You're a zombie girl. I know this.
Yes, I know. It's just like, I liked zombies before they were cool, thank you very much.
I know. I kind of, as a not really a zombie fan, I kind of feel a little flooded with zombie stuff right now.
Fair.
You know, I like, The Walking Dead came out, and it was good when it started, but I was just like, it's just so much.
I have so many, like, grumps like you, like, have grumps about things. I have grumps about that show that it would take up another hour for me to get through all of them, so I think I will, like, stop myself.
Okay, well, just leave that over there.
Yes.
You just have an entire afternoon where you just, like, sit and just chatting and just complain about The Walking Dead.
Yes. Well, okay, just one grump that I will just get into just really quickly. Very quickly.
I poked the bear.
Yes. I don't like what they're doing with the Whisperers. Or what they're going to do. Okay, I said it.
But yeah, I feel, because, you know, and it's an easy, for me, I feel like it's an easy way to produce, like, zombies as the bad, right? Uh-huh. You don't have to really have, it's more focused then on the survivors, right?
Right.
Whereas I do like the Resident Evil movie franchise for the fact that there is, like, the mystery behind the T-virus and how it all came to be and everything like that, and they're trying to get to this place. I feel like there's more going on, but when we had, like, the Shaun of the Dead and Zombieland and all those movies started coming out, I was just like, okay, you're killing zombies and you're trying not to die. Okay, you're killing zombies and trying not to die. I need more.
Mm-hmm. And I think people tend to forget, George A. Romero, the Godfather of zombies, yes. And
yes, 100%.
Yes, because without him, and also without I Am Legend, and without Seabrook's The Magic Island, Seabrook was a nut, so let's not get into that. But without those, George Romero would never have made Night of the Living Dead, and zombies wouldn't be where they are today. So yes. So yes, I could, like, wax poetic about Romero, but yes, most zombie things have gotten, especially nowadays, have gotten away from the fact that that social commentary, it was very prevalent with Romero's films, and because zombies are the perfect vehicle for that. I wanted to kind of get back to that again, where it's not just about killing zombies, as you mentioned.
Yes, yeah. I need the more the in-depth story behind stuff, not just the gore of killing zombies and trying not to die. Right. You know?
Because if I wanted that, I'll play Left 4 Dead 2 and Killing Floor 2.
Exactly. I'll just, go slay some Zeds in Killing Floor, which is a fun game to try and take your anger out in, by the way. Yeah.
If you're just feeling pissed or you have the grumps, you just load up Killing Floor 2. Yep.
Just start killing zombies, just shooting stuff, blowing things up. It's fabulous.
Yes,
it's good.
Another fun game to play with friends.
100%.
Absolutely. Oh
goodness.
Oh yeah, I know there was something else I was wanting to ask. Like, okay, all right. So you mentioned, I remember even whenever we were talking about it, whenever I was on your very first episode of your podcast, about urban legends. So what is it that attracts you so much to urban legends? I like them myself, but I want to hear your thoughts.
Because I feel that there's some, or most urban legends have some base in reality and actual situations that have happened. And it's kind of like as close to horror in real life as we can get. And it's just intriguing. It's like I studied anthropology in university, and I was heading toward archaeology before I took some time off to travel, which lasted 10 years before I went back and did law.
Oh, wow.
But anyway, so the study of humans, that's what anthropology is, and cultures, and so like mythology and people's cultural, history and stuff like that, just draws me right in. And urban legends is just kind of like a newer sort of take on it, the spookier kind of take on it. And I love hearing about them, especially because like I live in a city that's considered the most haunted city in Canada. Which is funny because we don't really it doesn't seem like we have a lot of ghost activity going on around here, but there is. I'm still not sure if I believe in ghosts or not, but weird things happen here. But yeah, I love hearing about them. It's a little sort of peek into every community's history in a way as well. So you just get a little slice of it, and it's nice. I like it.
Is that what attracted you to moving to that town to begin with? Was because it was so haunted, or was it just like
No, I grew up on the island here, and this city is a small city, and it's the biggest one on the island. I've lived lots of other places, but after living up in northern Alberta for like 6 years, I was like, I need to go back to the ocean. So I came back here, and I've been back for about 5 years, and I'm getting the itch to go somewhere new again, so I don't know where I'm gonna go. I was looking at houses in Salem, I'm not gonna lie, but it's expensive there.
I can imagine, probably because also they rake most of their money in on tourism.
Yeah, well, this is a very tourist-heavy place. It's also very big in the film industry here. One of the castles that's in town is in all the X-Men movie. It's Xavier's School for the Gifted, so like in Deadpool. You see when they go to it's just right over there.
Oh my goodness, I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah, and they shoot basically if you see a forest, it's shot in BC. 9 times out of 10. So the film industry is huge here. I have a really bad habit of being in my own world, walking around town and walking directly into set. Got metal in my ears, like music, not actual metal, and I'm like, in my own little land, looking at my phone, and then someone's like waving their arms and screaming at me. It's usually at least once or twice a year that I do that.
Yeah, it's like, you messed up our shot! Like, oh, sorry.
Yeah, I'm like, well, just... I don't know, there's tourists everywhere. They've actually started now where they like tent out to the street to try and keep people from accidentally doing that sort of stuff, so...
Hop said gal trying to get on film, don't lie.
I just want to be famous, that's it, no.
Yeah, it's like,
but yeah, it's a very intriguing place that I live in. It's a very strange little place. It's magical.
Oh, wow. I was looking at the time just like, I knew probably that I've been gabbed like forever with you. Almost 2 hours that we've been on. Yeah. So I feel that
it's been a wonderful time.
Yeah, so I'm so glad though that you had yourself like a great time. Just like if people aren't bored, then I'm happy. I'm happy.
No, I just love blabbering with people about things that I'm excited about.
It's like blah, 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 blah. Oh, wow. It's been like 5 hours later. It's just like, where did all the time go? Whoopsies. But I'm going to ask the chat if they have any other questions for you. So while we're waiting on those, talk about when your stream schedule is, the next time that you're streaming, and what you'll be streaming.
So I stream Monday nights at 6 p.m. Pacific. That's usually our Monday Night Metal night, where I get really into the loud metal and play Diablo. Not this week, but next week it'll probably actually go really late as I get into some co-streams. The new season is coming upon us pretty soon, so I will be doing some non-seasonal stuff tomorrow night, trying to get some better gear. Then Wednesdays and Thursdays during the day, I usually hang out. We have chiller streams. You know, I work. I was playing some Evil Within for a while. Sometimes I play Elder Scrolls Online. I played Stardew again the other day because I was just like, I need to just not use my brain right now, and I can play this game with my eyes closed. And then Friday nights, occasionally we do Glam Clams multi-streams. Not every week. Occasionally we do those, and that's like Killing Floor. We've done a Dead by Daylight one. Or I will play like horror games in the evening on Friday nights. So I probably will start like We Happy Few in a bit, and a playthrough of Layers of Fear before we get that lovely look at Layers of Fear 2 coming so soon. I'm so hyped. So that's really exciting. So that's when I stream. And then Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific is when Jenny and I have the Cackling Cauldron over on my channel.
Oh, so then that's podcast day for you. That's
podcast day for us, yes.
Yay. If you're ever looking for new people to play Dead by Daylight with, you know, I'm always down.
I'll have to get you I'll send you an invite into the Discord for the Glam Clams after we're done. I lost track of who I have and haven't sent it to. So
I remember you contacting me about it, saying, "Hey, I'm doing this." Like whenever you're interested. It's like,
and then I never remember anything, so always feel free to poke me and be like,
"Well, I know
you said something about this."
Yeah, I never remember anything either until someone's like, "It's just like, oh, I'm sorry."
Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah, no, I'm exactly the same way, so.
I never try to be like, oh yeah, I remember that. I'm just like, nope, sorry.
Yep,
not a clue. Yeah, not a clue. Alright, so let me scroll up and see just any other questions, comments. I was more disturbed when Futurama got taken off Netflix. Okay.
I think it's still on Netflix in Canada. Knock on wood. That's wood. That's not.
Yeah. Just move to Canada. You know, like all the shows that have probably been taken off.
Yeah, and everyone's like, why don't you just get a VPN? I'm like, I don't want to.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Why? I just don't. Okay? Because there is stuff in Canada that you guys don't get in the States that we have, right? So, like,
right.
I don't want to have to be turning things on and off and reprogramming things, and nah. I'll just stick with what I have and struggle.
Yeah. No.
No.
No. Okay, it doesn't look like there are any other comments or questions, so I will go ahead and end it here for our little 2-hour chat. So once again, Galaxy, my dear, thank you so much for taking time out of your evening to come on and gab about horror with me.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a fabulous time.
I am so glad that you had a great time, because I was like in the back of my mind, I'm like, yeah, but very happy that you enjoyed yourself.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. And any final parting words?
Stay spooky.
Stay spooky. And thanks for streaming. Oh, thank you, Ishka.
Thanks for coming, Ishka.
Yep. All right. So take care, my dear, and I will definitely be talking with you again soon.
Bye.
Bye. Once again, thank you so much to GalaxyGraves for coming on the podcast today. And I want to thank everybody here for watching and listening. Please join us again next week as we have another exciting guest on Terrorific Talk. And as we once again get down to the central question, why horror? So make sure you also follow the podcast on anchor.fm/Terrorific Talk so you never miss an episode. And check out my Patreon at patreon.com/Terrorific patreon.com/Brandykins if you want to specifically support Terrific Talk. As always, stay terrific, everyone, and bye-bye.